Hey there, my name's Andrea. Last night I watched The F Word, also known as What If, not F, if. In Canada and the UK, it's called The F Word, but Hollywood changed it to What If to avoid an R rating. Interesting. The F Word is friends, not what you think it is. Medical school dropout Wallace has been repeatedly burned by bad relationships. He meets Chantry, an animator who lives with her longtime boyfriend Ben, and they form an instant connection, striking up a close friendship. Still, there is no denying chemistry between them, leading the pair to wonder, what if the love of your life is actually your best friend? I mean, who hasn't had that problem, right? Right? Starring Zoe Kazan and Daniel Radcliffe, also featuring Adam Driver, which you may recognize from a few other things. Directed by Michael Dowse, who's a director born in London, Ontario. Both of the writers are also Canadians. The one actually won a Canadian Screen Award in 2014 for Best Adapted Screenplay. I quite enjoyed this movie. I'm gonna give a shout out to the girl at Video Plus Books in Stratford because she recommended it to me very last minute, and she said it was very good, and I trusted her, and it was very good. Good recommendation. Not all heroes wear capes. Go to your local video store today. The great thing about DVDs also is that you get to watch a lot of behind the scenes stuff. And most films these days don't seem to have good quality behind the scenes interviews and just sort of like videography. But this one was very good. I quite enjoyed watching it after watching the actual film. So good job, videographers. There was some neat sort of magical realism. The main character here is actually an animator. So there's some neat sort of like paper graphics and different like visuals that sort of are within the film, as well as when they're talking about this Elvis sandwich, there's sort of like slow motions of a chef preparing this, kind of like really like intimate shots of this sandwich, which are pretty funny. And there are a few other sort of like flashbacks or sort of imaginative different scenes kind of overlaid over the actual story. The screenplay was really well written. There's some very funny dialogue. It's a very sort of awkward real life humor. Most of the filming was done in Toronto, but there's also some shots in Ireland because that's where part of the film takes place. There were some excellent location choices, so bravo, locations manager. From the different stores that they sort of walk in, there's like a knitting store, the hospital, some nice sort of cityscapes of them walking through the park, sitting on a bench. Chantry's office looks really, really neat too, especially since it's an animation studio, so it's a very creative sort of atmosphere. They're upfront about the movie actually taking place in Toronto and the characters living in Toronto. You'll see the CN Tower in the background. The one character sends a postcard that says Toronto. The boarding pass has like Air Canada on it. The production design was spot on, good colors, good sort of combination of patterns and textures and locations. It all just came together beautifully. And the costumes, there's some really neat sort of funky outfits that they were wearing. Just little details in the background that sort of tells you more about the characters. Well done. Hello, neighbors. Hello. The characters were great. They're really just sort of well-rounded, like real life characters, which is what you want to have in a movie most of the time. You want to be able to relate to these people or see yourself in them in some way, and I think there's definitely sort of many relatable situations that these characters get into that you can sort of connect with and feel empathy for them. This movie is classified as a romantic comedy, rom-com as they call them, and that's exactly what it was. I think it was the perfect blend of romance and comedy. When I watched the behind the scenes interviews, the writer said that a lot of the locations in the film are places that he actually wrote the script, which is really neat. It was an official selection for the Toronto International Film Festival in 2013. I thought I was gonna have a difficult time watching this knowing that that's Harry Potter. That's actor stereotyping. But it wasn't bad actually. He was pretty good in this. All of the actors were really, really good. Go Daniel. Who would like this? I think anyone that appreciates romantic comedies or comedies, anyone who knows Toronto really well, I think they would have a good time sort of watching it. So if you're a fan of sort of awkward, real life, funny humor, then you should watch this movie. For sure you should. You're gonna like it. You're gonna love it. If I was to give it a rating, I would give it the rating of go watch it. It was really well done, not too cheesy, semi-predictable, but I mean, it would just be depressing if it didn't work out, right? Did that just give it away? Thank you guys for watching. This is the last episode of the season, of the summer season. We're gonna take a little break for the summer, and we'll be back with all new episodes for the fall. So stay tuned. Thank you guys for watching me talk for these past couple months. I really appreciate the support and the feedback. And yeah, if you haven't checked out any of the movies, I highly encourage you to watch them over the summer. I'll be watching a bunch. We'll still be shooting everything, but we just won't release the episodes until the fall. So we'll have a nice little break to sort of put a bunch of cool ones together. We're hoping to do new skits and different sort of things with them. We just need time. So keep watching Canadian films, keep watching TV shows, support local independent filmmakers. Have a great summer, everyone. See you in the fall.